Hey there, so I am back and we are going to get an in-depth look at the Doctor Who, the Key to Time Special Edition box set. Now, anybody that remembers, when the set originally came out, it was a 6-disc set, and there was the restoration wasn't very good, and there weren't very many features on it. Thankfully, it was later re-released as a 7-disc set with a completely new restoration done. An incredible restoration, and 7 discs filled with great features. And we're going to get into the features here. We're going to look at the set. So here we are. This is the 16th series of Doctor Who, and the stories are the Ribos Operation, the Pirate Planet, Stones of Blood, the Androids of Terra, the Power of Crawl, and the Armageddon Factor. Now, one really cool thing is that the Pirate Planet, which was an episode, a serial done by Douglas Adams, that ran 4 episodes long, that has actually never been put into a Doctor Who novelization like many of the Doctor Who episodes have been. It's one of the few that haven't been, actually. This set is, as you can tell, loaded with features. See the Doctor here, and this is the first Romana, of course, Mary Tam. Beautiful, beautiful girl who, unfortunately, we lost to cancer last year. So when you open up the set, this, of course, is a Region 1 edition. It is in a kind of like a book type case. I really like these. And the first thing you get, I'll show you this. You get the special edition booklet, and it goes over all the extras and stuff like that. So I'll be keeping this out to let you guys know about some stuff. Now, it's episodes 98 to 103. Actually, the episode 100 is on here, which is the 100th episode of Doctor Who, and which is Stones of Blood. And he wanted to kind of combine an Earth story and kind of like a space story together, and give sort of bring back a bit of the Gothic feel as well, which was prevalent throughout some of the Doctor's best stories in the in earlier episodes with Tom Baker. Now, you open it up and you see the first disc. We'll go through the discs here first. This is the Ribos Operation. Then we got the Pirate Planet. That's Douglas Adams. Next up is Stones of Blood. That's the 100th episode of Doctor Who. So when you get the set, you actually get the 100th special episode of Doctor Who as well. Next up is Androids of Terra, which is kind of like think of a space version of Prisoner's End, and that's what you kind of get with that one. The Power of Crawl, and the next two are like Armageddon Factor Special Edition, and that gets 2 discs, gets an extra special bonus features on there. And what you should know is the Armageddon Factor was 6 episodes, where the other ones were 4 episodes each. The original Doctor Who series ran like half-hour episodes with cliffhangers, and that's the way that they run the show. Now, the features. There's a lot, so I'm going to kind of get through these as fast as possible. There's a lot of audio commentaries. Each one of these will have an audio commentary with Tom Baker and Mary Tam, who played the Doctor Romana, and they will sometimes be will have other people on them as well. There is on the first one, the Ribos Operation, there's a Matter of Time documentary that explores Graham William. He was the producer of Doctor Who at the time, 3-year tenure on the show. Since this is the 16th series of Doctor Who, we wanted to do something different, which is where the whole overarching serial came from. Of course, we get the Ribos file, which is the making of. They do some incredible making ofs on here. On the next disc, of course, we have an audio commentary with actor Bruce Purchase, who was the pirate captain, a very interesting and unique character in the Doctor Who mythology, which really needs to be checked out. It's a creation of Douglas Adams, so you can imagine what it's like. And director Pennant Roberts for that. And we also, of course, get the Tom Baker, Mary Tam commentary, and this time script editor Anthony Reed joins them. Of course, Parrot Fashion, a making of, featuring interviews with the late Douglas Adams, Mary Tam, John Leeson, who of course played K9, among other characters in Doctor Who, but is most famous for the K9 role. Bruce Purchase and Rosalind Lloyd, who was it Xanax or something? I can't remember her character's name now. There's film inserts, deleted scenes, and outtakes. And there's kind of a cute little thing called Weird Science, a 1970s educational film spoof, which is really cool to look at. Now, on the Stones of Blood have some of the features, especially if you're a horror fan. First audio commentary, because yes, again, this one has two audio commentaries as Mary Tam and the director Darrell Blake. And the next audio commentary has Tom Baker, Mary Tam, Susan Engel, and writer David Fisher. There's a documentary on the making of it called Getting Blood from the Stones. We have a Hammer horror featurette on horror films' influence on the Doctor Who. And Stones Free, Mary Tam visits the Rollright Stones to meet experts on the ancient stone circle. And there's some deleted scenes from part 2 in the model world of Robert Sims. Blue Peter, a nationwide Doctor Who 15th anniversary celebration, because remember, this is the 100th episode after all. Of course, photo gallery and stuff like that. Android Zatara comes in with a commentary with Tom Baker and Mary Tam and the director Michael Hayes. We get the Human Zatara, which is kind of a making of. I guess they're talking about like the whole how it mirrored Anthony Hope's Prisoner of Zenda novel. We get Now and Then locations. I really like these on here. And a short little featurette called Double Trouble, retrospective on doubles in Doctor Who, which is really, really cool. Next up is The Power of Crawl, and that one has a commentary with Tom Baker and John Leeson. Oh yeah, this one actually doesn't have Mary Tam in the commentary for this one, which is actually very strange. It has variations, locations, visit from BBC Archive, in studios, a glimpse to the studio recording of the story, and there's something about Mary. There's a Mary Tam kind of look back on her season as Romana. She only stayed for this season to play the character of Romana because basically Mary Tam was a very strong female actress and very confident, and she wanted to make sure that the character she played stayed strong and confident. When she felt like the character had gotten more assistant-y and more of like the screaming character, like Help Me Doctor, she didn't want to do that, so she ended up leaving the series and Layla Ward would take over and actually bring the character again back to what Mary Tam wanted it to be. And there's a look at Philip Maddock, who's played various villain roles on Doctor Who. The sixth disc, The Armageddon Factor, we have a commentary with Mary Tam and John Woodvine and director Michael Hayes, and there's a second audio commentary with Tom Baker and Mary Tam and John Leeson, which should be really interesting because of course that's the Doctor, Romana, and K9. We got production notes, Doctor Who 1979 annuals on here as well if you shove this in your computer. Then there, of course, there's a bonus disc, and this is some cool stuff. Defining Shadows, the making of a documentary, and Layla Ward, of course, is on this now, who would become the later Romana. She is, of course, the Princess Astra in this storyline. Michael Hayes talks about his directing career. Rogue Time Lords, his little thing on like the different evil Time Lords and Gallifreyans. Pebble Middle Ones, the 1978 Tom Baker interview. The New Sound of Music talks with Dick Mills on serious sound effects. Merry Christmas, Doctor Who is kind of a short little 1 minute sketch where basically we see the Doctor ringing in the New Year, and I think it's with champagne. But the coolest thing, featurette for me on this whole set, is they did this little show where Tom Baker would come on, and that's as pretty much as himself, and he would read like creepy stories. So almost a throwback to the radio days. He'd be in front of kind of think a desk or something like that. It's called a Late Night Story, and there's 5 stories here, and they're like run about 15 minutes each, with Tom Baker reading them, like from stories from Nigel O'Neill, Ray Bradbury, Mary Danby, Graham Greene, just some really great stuff by Saki. Some really creepy stuff in Doctor Who, and then it's on the 7th disc. And it's so good to finally have this here. This is the 16th season of Doctor Who. It's Graham Williams' defining season in the series, and it wasn't easy for him to come and do this after Robert Hinchcliffe had such a strong time as the producer of the series Doctor Who, to come in and have to do that. But luckily, he had some talented writers, and Tom Baker at his absolute best. Still, this is Tom Baker's still running great with Doctor Who before he actually, I won't say ran out of steam, but before he got bored, so to say. But overall, I think there's like something like 9 or 10 commentaries on this here altogether. Just a lot of great featurettes. Of course, the Armageddon Factor is the longest running story, running at 147 minutes, and the shortest running one is The Power of Crawl. The Rivals Operation is probably the weakest story in the set because it has to set up all of the things that's going to be going on throughout the rest of the serial. And for that reason alone, it's like probably the one that you know, it takes time to plow through. But once you get through the introductions of everybody, and then you get into like the meat of the stories, and it really rolls pretty fast. There are some great stories on here. It's not just having a special edition. It's not just having a complete series of Doctor Who, but it's also having the 100th episode of Doctor Who on here as well. Having some of those great things like the late night stories read by Tom Baker. It runs in about 69 minutes altogether. Just really, really cool stuff. There's some great featurettes, so stuff on their Gothic days, Hammer Horror, talking about Douglas Adams writing on there, talking about Mary Tamm's one very successful series on Doctor Who. And you know, she would come back later on to do the audios. Unfortunately, she passed away after doing some of the audios, and Layla Ward actually took over in the Romana role and doing the audios. I know that it was said that there was going to be another actress doing playing Romana actually in the audios coming up. I know the third Romana's regeneration was modeled after Louise Brooks, the silent movie actress in Pandora's Box. You know, to name just one of her films. But if you guys haven't picked this up and you're a fan of classic Doctor Who, highly, highly recommend this. I got this at a great deal during, well, my better half got a great deal during the whole Barnes & Noble sale that when they did all the BBC shows for like for a great half price or something like that, which was incredible for this series. Key to Time, been waiting to get this one for a long time. It's always been super expensive. So excited to have this one tonight. I wanted to go in to show you guys exactly what was on it. And if you haven't picked it up yet, highly, highly recommend it. If you're a Doctor Who fan, if you're a classic Doctor Who fan at all, this is one that you should have in your collection. There are certain box sets that belong in every Doctor Who fan's collection. Key to Time is one of them. Trial of a Time Lord is another. Those two are both complete series, and it's the only complete series sets in the Doctor Who, you know, in the original Doctor Who series. So that's my overview and look at A Key to Time. I'm going to go grab some tea and sit back, and maybe I'm going to enjoy some of the features. And right now, for me, it is time for tea.